Hey, what's up, man? It's the Rucksack Revolution live stream via my YouTube channel, Rucksack Revolution, and also on Facebook, on the Rucksack Revolution Facebook group, as well as on my personal page right now, because life's good and paid for subscription to. I'm going to play with some stuff. I got some cool stuff to play with that Mitch has been helping me with. So here we go. This is brought to you. There we go. It changed in the upper corner. What is that? Yeah, StreamYard. StreamYard. Tell you about them. They're not like they aren't paying me to say this. Actually, I pay them, right? But yeah, they're you can do like live streams for free, but you can go to like one outlet, say like your YouTube channel, and if you pay, I think it's like $25 a month, or you can pay like $240 a year. Then you can go to multiple outlets and you have unlimited hours of streaming ability and whatever. And so anyways, that's a StreamYard, and I got this cool new logo. So I can click stuff on my computer and make things happen. But anyways, this is like, I guess, going to be the new kind of Rucksack Revolution logo. But we'll put the live back on for now. And I guess you saw it, real cool little entry. I'm going to play it again. It's going to be the entry for the show. I believe that music, by the way, I should say this. I don't think I've said this on the podcast or anything yet, is that music is through Phil Shepard, a friend of mine, Phil and Stephanie Shepard, currently up in near Denver, Colorado. And I stayed with them for a couple days on my recent road trip this summer, the Elvisburger road trip. Probably hear some about that during our time here. And anyways, that's a group called Original Sin that Phil is involved with. Anyways, I think, yeah, Original Sin. What a great, for a show that I purport that what Rucksack Revolution podcast, and I'll show you how to get on. You can get on the show here tonight. I'm going to show you. I'll do it right now because it's just more stuff to get to play with. So here we go. I don't know. What's this first banner? Okay. Want to be a guest on the show? Visit patreon.com, Rucksack Rev. That's my Patreon site, by the way. And if you go there to look up on patreon.com, Rucksack Rev, then you can click on there and you'll find there's a public post that I just made a few minutes ago. And you'll see if you click on it, it'll say click here. And if you click there, it will go through one or two steps and it will bring you right up onto the show. And we can share a screen. I don't know. Can I show you how the screen shares without having someone to share it with? Let's see. Nah, I ain't going to do it. Got to have someone actually on here. But anyways, yeah, so, this is also going to be the new platform. I'm doing the vlogcast. I just like calling podcast. Vlog just sounds so weird, Vlog the Impaler or something. But that'll be on. But anyways, so I just got these banners. Like Mitch has been making some for me, and I actually made one. And I'll show it to you here in a sec. Don't forget to subscribe on. I just got back from the gym. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube to Rucksack Revolution. We're trying to get subscribers so that I guess it works out if you get so many subscribers. I don't know if it's 100 or whatever it is. We need about 40 more, I think. Then when you share a link, instead of it saying like gobbledygook.com or .com gobbledygook, it'll say like rucksackrevolution.com or something. Like it'll make sense is what I'm saying. But here's the other one. Just throw it up here. There we go. If you want to be on the show tonight, live, all you got to do is you can go to patreon.com, Rucksack Rev, which is my Patreon platform, site, whatever, and you'll find a link for tonight's show, which is this link. I'm pointing to my screen like you can see me pointing, where it says there, StreamYard.com, gobbledygook. Well, you just put that into your browser on your laptop or your phone or whatever, and it'll bring you up on the show, and we can talk about whatever. Because what I'm kind of seeing this whole Rucksack Revolution thing. Well, actually, it started about a long time ago, because it started with a book by Jack Kerouac called The Dharma Bums, and the saying, whatever you want to call it, phrase, Rucksack Revolution, the moniker, actually is spoken by a character named Jaffe Ryder in the book, and that character in real life was none other than Gary Snyder, the Western Zen poet. And he spoke of a Rucksack Revolution, crazy Zen lunatics, climbing mountains, and I don't know, just going all over the U.S. and making I forget exactly the quote. I should have it in front of me, and I'd read it like an intro to worship, right? You know, like some kind of litany or something. But it's I don't know. It's something like making old women happy and young girls laugh and old men, I don't know, do backflips and young men not want to kill each other. I don't know. I don't remember the exact quote, but it actually comes from that. And then I started a blog about, I guess about 10 or 12 years ago, and let it die. Not totally die, just wasn't using it. It was dormant for about the last, I'd say 7, 8 years, maybe 8 years. And went on this crazy road trip this summer. And then Mitch, who is my crazy best friend, I mean that in a good way, he said, "Hey, let's bring all that back. Let's start a podcast." I said I wanted to start a podcast with it. He says, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I'd like to do my blog again, do some writing, and I'd like to bring in podcasting and shooting videos." So we've got a documentary we're making of my road trip from this summer, 66 days and 17,000 something miles, and something like, I don't know, 3 or 4 oil changes, and whatever. You know, overall the car did well. I didn't die. I'm not in jail, so I'm not in the a mental health institute or 6 feet under the ground or in the depths of the ocean. So overall, I would say it was a successful trip. But anyways, so yeah, what are we going to talk about tonight? Oh, I'm going to tell you. So basically, the whole idea. If you know why I'm wearing my shades, it's because I'm in a chair. I got these shades. I get this thing. I'm going to tell you about a lot of really cool products and things. Not to be a materialist, but I'm actually kind of a minimalist. But the things I do like that I have or I get, I really like a lot, and I like to tell people about them. And I do have 3, I guess, corporate sponsors for my project, Rucksack Revolution. And I'll just tell you who they are right now. That's Scarlett Kofer Art out of Jacksonville, North Carolina, Camp Lejeune. She is married to a Marine. I know they are married because I performed their wedding a few years ago. And I have visited them about a year ago for a few days. So I know they're still married. They haven't, killed each other yet. So life is good. And she is an amazing artist. She even she painted Starry Night by Van Gogh on a pair of vans or, Walmart vans or whatever. They were really cool. I think she still has them. She used to wear them around, but she'll paint on anything. She'll paint on your face probably, just get a hold of her, scarlettkoferart.com. And I think she's also on Redbubble. And so there's her, and then David's Delicious Delights in Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania, which is a small town in Pennsylvania where Susquehanna University is located. And Dave is an amazing individual who also happens to make amazing baked goods. So if you're ever in Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania, you know where to go. One of my 4 basic food groups is cheesecake. And so he's going to make me a cheesecake. When I get up there, I thought I was going to be up there to get a cheesecake here in a couple of weeks. Around the time of the election, but turns out I'm not. But I'm gonna get that cheesecake. He sent me a photo of what it's gonna look like, and it is like a double-decker strawberry, just goop falling off of it, and it was just amazing. And hey, you know what? I should I have comments, and I didn't have it on my comments. So let's see what the comments are. I gotta read. My eyes are all messed up here. Oh, Robin Puckett, dude, what's up? Randall Heskett. Kick ass for Jesus. Yes, that should maybe be the slogan. That's what I'm trying to get to as I ramble on. Oh, I mentioned the glasses and the corporate sponsors. What I was going to say is these glasses I bought today for like $20. And I'm wearing them because I just wore them home from the store. But it's because 2 days ago, I bought a pair of glasses for $20. And they replaced a pair of glasses I got for free that I had for about, I don't know, man, like 3 years, a little over 3 years maybe, that I got in a thing called a cairn box, like a stack of stones, a cairn, CAIRN. And they're a company out of Bend, Oregon, which is a really cool place. And I went near to Bend on my road trip near there in Ashland, and I didn't get to either of them. I was just like getting on the road that day, trying to get down into the Redwood country and California coast. And I got to go back there now because I got to go to, I want to see Crater Lake. And I want to see Ashland, which is like this amazing hippie town. And Bhagavan Das actually lives there. He and I are Facebook friends. So, I don't know, man. Maybe I'll go see Bhagavan Das. Say, what's up, Gavin? What's up? but want to go there, and I want to go to Bend because they make these things called Cairn boxes. It's a subscription service, and you get a subscription to it, and they send you. In this case, mine just came in for this month, and it's in a reinforced like kind of cardboard package. But usually, it actually comes in a little like cardboard box, bigger or smaller, depending on what's in it. But they send you like really cool like camping and backpacking type stuff. I got a really nice Gerber pocket knife one time, but I got these shades, and I had them for a few years, and they actually broke during the road trip, and I super glued them twice with Gorilla Glue, and they were working okay. And then I broke them again the other day, and I went to super glue them, and I did a big blob of super glue like down the lens, and I just, come on, man. Once you got to super glue the frame 3 times, it's get a new pair of glasses. Don't be cheap. So I got a new pair 2 days ago, and I was showing a person how to do a full Buddhist bow like we used to do in my meditation class with Dr. Chung when I was going to seminary in New York. And so I got up from where I was sitting on this front porch of this nice old restored home that a friend of mine has, like a hippie vintage, shabby chic, hippie chick shop thing. My friend Jennifer, Soul Essentials in Ocala, Florida, highly recommend it. And there's going to be a drum circle there on the porch. I think it's Halloween night, I discovered. But anyways, I was sitting in this chair on the front porch, nice cushy old chair, and had these glasses on, not these, the ones I broke, and I took them off. I got the strap on the back, so I took them off, set them in the chair like a moron, did this Buddhist bow, sit down in the chair, bam, man, broke them flat. I'm just ruined. And so I got these, and so being as I'm in a chair, I don't anticipate doing any Buddhist bows tonight, but I just decided I'd wear them. And I don't know. I like the look. I don't know. What the heck, right? I just spent I had to get two $20 sunglasses in 48 hours because I'm an idiot. And so I'm just, man, these are like $40 sunglasses or $20 sunglasses that cost me $40. So I'm going to wear them. And anyways, so StreamYard. And let me see if I can still do my military phonetic alphabet. I tried a couple weeks ago and didn't do so well. So let's see. Charlie, Romeo, X-ray, Delta, Delta, Queen, Quidditch. Oh, crap. X-ray, Romeo, uniform, Kilo. Q. What the heck is Q, man? Oh, is it Queen? No. I can't remember. I didn't forget that one last time. I got to remember this stuff. I knew that stuff when I was a kid from when I was into like ham radio and stuff. And then I'm in the Army and I'm supposed to know it. Now I don't know. I don't know shit. But anyway, so hey, man, all right. Yeah, hey, Robin, man, what's up? Robin is a friend of mine that I've known back, I think 5th grade. And by the way, hey, Robin, if you're still listening, it was... do you remember Mary Ann? I think you were in 5th grade with me in Miss Cobb's class, right? Mary Ann. I haven't seen her since 5th grade. She sent me our 5th grade class photo out of the blue a few weeks ago. Maybe, I guess it's been about 3 weeks now. And I've lost like all my photos from when I was a kid. I mean, even young adult. Like I'm talking, other than a few photos that have been sent to me by some Army buddies, and now this one from 5th grade, and Doris had our band group photo, which actually is sitting over. I have to show it to you all in a minute. It's pretty funny. You can see what I looked like when I was 14. I was a little like tiny guy. And so I don't have any of those photos. So I wake up on Messenger. She's got a message for me because we're Facebook friends, and bam, there it is. And I'm like, wow. So it's the youngest photo I have of myself now. That I own, that I'm like, I guess 10 years old. And anyway, so yeah, Mary Ann, we were on the front porch at Soul Essentials. And I don't know, we got on the topic of Buddhism or something. I'd had a monster, or not I'd had a rock star, dude. A rock star and like a cup of fried rice or something, like nothing. I was just wired. And so yeah, I sat on my glasses. And I won't do that again, hopefully. I set a record. I think 48 hours is my record for destroying a pair of sunglasses. It seems to me there might have been a pair once many years ago in my 20s that I broke in like 45 minutes. I don't remember, but I was probably really drunk at the time. That's probably why it happened and why I also don't remember for sure. But we will just say that this one is 2 days is the record. And if you want to... come on the show and tell us what your record is. That's cool with me, man. Or you can do it in the chat room. Anyway, so yeah. Otherwise, I'm gonna sit here and just talk because what I ain't gonna lie. You know, I have a little medicine before the show, so I just, you know, just chill. I wish I put on some tunes, man. But what is it like? You know, this thing called copyright on music. And Mitch showed me a website it's very down on my favorites. I got to find it, but it's something like like all the music that's on the internet that isn't copyrighted, I guess you can access on it, or it will tell you if you know you can use it. And I need to go through it. He's gotten some good music off there for our podcasts and stuff. So I need to find out, and then we can have some tunes. Oh, and I want to mention the third sponsor. I mentioned Scarlet Co. for Art, and I mentioned David's Delicious Delights, who, by the way, I did a podcast with Dave, I don't know, like a month or so ago. That was pretty good. And I want y'all to be thinking about his partner, his wife. She is the like wellness coordinator, whatever, of Susquehanna University, which is no small task on any given day. But right now with COVID going on, I mean, you can imagine. So he's probably making her a lot of cheesecakes or something, I guess, or whatever she likes. Because cookies, I don't know, because she's got quite the job. You know, she's kind of the go-to person or something. The Dr. Fauci, I don't know, of Susquehanna University. She's that person. If the president of the school says what's going on, she's the person that's going to, you know, say here's what's going on. So she's got a lot going on right now. And so y'all be thinking about her and David. And I can't remember her name. That might have something to do with one of the glasses. I don't know. But yeah. And I want to mention the other sponsor. And I should have, you'll get to know about Warren. He may come on tonight. But tomorrow night, we're finally doing this podcast I wanted to do with him. Last week, my camera was all fried on my computer. Now it's working like nothing's wrong with it. I don't know. But I'm going with it. I've got another camera that I got from a buddy he sent to me, and I can hook it up in like no time flat. So I'm just going to run on faith with this. And it looks like I got someone coming on. Who's coming on? Oh, go Dogs. All right. This is the enemy. This is the enemy here.
Brother, I am only
you got to smoke or what?
Huh?
Is Josie there where she might have to ask questions if I speak wrong?
No. I am outside, away from the family. I need to be because I have breaking news for you. I don't know. Have you heard it?
Well, I know that Florida and Auburn probably aren't playing.
Florida and LSU, right? Is Auburn?
Florida and LSU. I'm sorry. I was thinking I was about to mention Warren, and so yeah, right. LSU.
Guess who else will not be playing this weekend?
Don't tell me Alabama, Georgia, because I'm waiting on that game.
Nick Saban will not be playing this weekend because he tested positive for COVID today.
But Georgia, the Dogs and Tide are playing, right? Because that's the, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, LSU Florida is a big game for both teams, and it may or may not even be played now. But man,
they'll reschedule it.
Georgia and Alabama. I want to see this game, and I want the Dogs to win. You heard that from this Gator, by the way.
I appreciate this.
Defeat the evil empire. Defeat the SEC West as a rule.
I'll tell it to you like this, Gene. Anybody that wants to talk football, let's talk football. But here's what I'm going to say. I don't know what it will take to stop the Tide, but I know what we're going to use. And if that won't stop them, maybe they can't be stopped.
Yeah. I want to see. I was talking with Warren about this, and you've heard it. And I finally figured out the third element, because I want I want the podcast to be sort of about. There's a phrase I remember when I was a teenager in church. It's called the Church of What's Happening Now, and it was like a joke that this Sunday school teacher I had. But no, and that's what church would talk about, things like spirituality, like what's happening politically, and we'll throw in some poetry because it seems that keeps coming up, but also SEC football.
Yeah,
and so this would kind of be, I described it as what would happen if Amy Goodman and Paul Feinbaum had a child.
Paul Feinbaum.
Yeah, Paul Feinbaum meets Amy Goodman, and they produce a Dudist priest who has a seminary degree. Well, and once upon a time was Presbyterian minister.
It's funny that you bring that up, because I was talking to my buddy Matt today, and he said that he is interested in StreamYard. He's interested in doing some sort of a streaming thing, and he wants to talk football as well, but he wants his angle to be football plus food. So
I was just talking about cheesecake, man. David's cheesecake.
There you go. So he was thinking that we might sit down and talk. Sometime during the week we might sit down and talk about like the SEC rundown or whatever, but then also how to make some chicken wings, right?
Chicken wings
like that.
Do you believe in grilling? Like the chicken wings should be finished off on like a flat top grill or not?
I don't think they have to be, but I think it's absolutely acceptable if they are.
All right, here's another question: breaded or unbreaded? There is a correct answer to this, by the way.
Well, if you're asking my preference, I would prefer breaded. But
oh, dude, man,
I'm sorry.
That's like telling Hank Hill you don't use propane, bro.
Well, I mean, I hear you. The thing is, I'll eat both of them. I don't know that there is a correct answer. I eat chicken wings, full stop.
I can go for some wings tonight, actually.
Good, dude.
I almost bought a big, like, Publix has these things like they put whole chickens in.
Yeah.
And they just fill them full of wings.
Yep.
And I almost got some to watch the game Saturday. I'm thinking possibly the Gators would have won if I would have eaten correctly. They're sort of the same. If you go to Publix and get a full sub, and I think chicken wings counts as well. But I just went and got like a tub of mac and cheese, so it was only a side dish, even though I made it my dinner. That's why it's close but no cigar.
I don't know
get a full meal.
Closely you follow the Vegas lines or anything like that, but Vegas had Florida at minus 13, so they were a favorite going into the day when the game was canceled. Going
against LSU, 13 points,
dude. LSU is.
Yeah, but Florida got no defense, man. I'll admit it, man. We got no defense.
That's true.
Canceling practice might give the defense a break because they get to rest up more. Maybe they need more rest. I don't know, man.
I can live with Florida not having a very dominant defense.
Well, that's because you're a Bulldog.
No. Listen, I'm a Georgia fan, but also I'm an SEC. Georgia, SEC East, SEC as a total, and then college football as a whole. But so I'm going to root for the guys on my side of the fence. You know what I mean? And what I'm saying is I could live with Florida not having a dominant defense because their offense is so explosive. But against A&M, how do you have a 11-point lead and let them crawl back in? I don't. Mm-mm.
That was a tough day for Kyle Trask too, because he was named after the stadium.
Right, exactly.
And he grew up like 2 hours from there or something like that.
And speaking of Kyle's, you throw to Pitts like 3 or 4 times in the first quarter, and then he was on a milk carton for the rest of that game, dude.
I'm saying, yeah, the announcers were talking about that. Like, why is Pitts not in the game?
I mean, the thing is, man, if Pitts is on my team, I'm throwing him the ball every play.
What was it that you messaged me? You were watching, I think it was the first game of the season with this like all SEC schedule. Who did they play? It was
I said Pitts is a beast. You
wrote that. You had one comment about the Florida game. You messaged me and you said Pitts is a man.
Yeah, he said he's a problem. I said Pitts is a problem.
The last time I heard you describe to me an SEC football player with that tone of text was oh my God, and you're gonna know his name right away. South Carolina running back years ago.
Marcus Lattimore.
Marcus Lattimore. Yeah, you were like this guy.
He might have played for the bad guys, but Marcus Lattimore was a dude. You hear me? That
straight
guy,
up,
dude.
Yeah.
He was stepping the center of your
leg up. So that's like a Joe Theismann, except it's his lower leg, not his thigh. He comes back, he plays again, and then he got in the pros, and then it happened again. Like really,
I want to say it happened to him twice in college. To be honest,
I think it was twice in college. Yeah,
he signed one of those like 1-day contracts or something like that. Just to retire. It was a. Did he ever even play a down in?
I think I may have seen him in a preseason game. Who drafted him, or who did he end up with?
Man, I can't.
It seems I saw him in a preseason game for a couple of plays once, maybe. But not in a regular game. No,
I don't remember at all. And they had that defensive end too. The guy that's Matt Clowney, Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah,
ridiculous. That guy was ridiculous. I mean,
what's your training regimen? I eat food.
he eats left tackles. That guy. He feeds all the food to the left tackle, and then he eats the left tackle. Yeah, that guy, man, in college, holy cow! Go. You can open up a tab. Go open up the tab for YouTube and Google or search for.
How do I do that again?
You just like share the screen. You got to open up a new tab and go to YouTube and look for Jadeveon Clowney hitting that Michigan running back.
How do I do that? Y'all gotta understand. Mitch is explaining everything to me, and because he's actually smart. He's told me about this a couple times, and I was setting up today going, "Oh, I should have practiced on this. I should have messed with this thing." And I said, "I'm going to do it tonight after the show." And then the whole mix comes on, and I didn't do my homework. So
go to the bottom of the screen. There's a button that says share screen or something like
now I gotta find my mouse. Okay. You see in real time, this is how it happens with me and Mitch.
Right.
Share screen.
Yep. And then you'll have to open up actually you should probably open the tab first before you share the screen.
It says screen sharing works best on a good computer. What kind of that's the most subjective statement I've ever heard in my life.
Computer's got a Georgia Bulldogs logo on it.
Okay, so I'm gonna just hit share screen. I'm gonna click share screen, right?
And then you got to open up a new tab. Actually, you want to open the tab first. And then
I didn't do that. Okay, well, now I'm opening up a tab.
Go to YouTube. Yep. Don't worry, your camera will stay on. People can still see you.
They can still see me because I'm nearsighted and I'm all up in the face of this computer. My vision's all blurry today. I don't know what it is.
I know what it is.
No, man, that doesn't make my vision blurry.
Oh, I was talking about the decades, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's part of it. I need bifocals, I think. All right, show notifications. No, I don't care about any of that. Okay, so now I'm on the YouTube page. What am I doing now?
Search for Clowney.
Oh, I forgot what I'm doing. Yeah,
Clowney versus Michigan.
He's EY, right?
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Oh, I know that play. Yeah.
Okay.
First thing came up. Clowney hit Michigan running back is the search.
Right. Don't hit play yet. Hit share screen, and then it'll say, "Do you want to share a tab?" Choose share a tab, and then choose which tab.
Chrome tab. All right. And now I'm hitting that, and I'm hitting share. Can you see the screen?
Yep.
All right. What's up?
Now click play.
I said, and our little faces are on the side. Okay, hey, cool.
So now you got to go back to the tab. You got to go back to the YouTube tab.
And open it up, and it's going to play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this one. I haven't seen this one in a while.
You can make it full screen, too. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Yeah, it looks like...
I remember this.
Look at the score. What's the score at this point in the game? Does it say?
I can't see it.
It's behind
Here it comes, though. Boom! Yeah, it took his helmet clean off. I remember that. Yeah.
Yes, that was serious. That was a dude right there.
We should have that as a trailer on here, like the music thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's watch that again, man.
Yes.
All right. I haven't seen this in a couple of years.
Not only does he make the hit and blow the guy up and knock his helmet off, he also recovers the fumble. Right? Watch this. Here we go. Smash. And he's got the ball. He just gets up with the ball. Dude, he could have stood up with that guy's heart.
He just gets up.
That's some serious stuff right there. All right. Hey, dude.
All right, so we're going to hit like on that for sure.
For sure. Yep.
And we're going to say that we got to figure out a way to make that like one of our things, man.
Oh, one of your little video stingers?
Yeah.
Just Clowney murdering some poor kid.
Yeah. You know, like there's another one. See, we're working on trying to where'd your face go? Oh, there you are. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm thinking like it'd be kind of like instead of Fine Bot, Jim Rome show, man. You ever watch Jim Rome?
Yeah, I used to watch Rome is Burning. Yeah.
I watch it on TV once in a blue moon, but I used to listen to him when I was driving the Panhandle back and forth to Mississippi when I was pastoring and doing the interviews and all. He like there's just crappy radio on the radio in the Panhandle for the most part. And there's this one stretch, man, it's just like nothing good. And I mean, it's Jesus and Garth Brooks, and like that's it.
Hey, did you know that I changed your background to the Matrix?
I did. It was that you that did that.
Yeah.
My name is Neo. It is not Mr. Anderson anymore. Did you know? I had not thought about this. Anderson broke down to the Greek means son of man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Neo is the Christ. I did not know this. I was reading this in a book just the other day. I forget who. Oh, a friend of mine. I'm going to have him on the show. Roger Woolsey. He what I call progressive systematic theology, progressive Christian systematic theology. And he mentions this, that, Yeah, Neo, his name is Mr. Anderson in the movie, that would be Son of Man in Greek.
Mhm.
So he is the Christ character. That's another. I'm always learning these weird little things about the Matrix, and yeah, I have my banner on my Twitter page. It's been on there forever. Is Keanu Reeves quote that the Matrix is a documentary.
Right.
Yeah. I don't hope people don't think I'm some weird conspiracy theorist.
Hey, I'm going in. We're about to have dinner, so I just wanted to
Okay, so yeah, man, we got to figure out how to get the Lattimore hit to be like a regular, like, what do you call this thing? Like, when you can play the music for 30 seconds.
do that. I can get you a little. Yeah, think of others if you can think of other plays. Maybe we get a little Reggie Nelson action on there for you too, because he was the last good Florida player.
No, the big one, and it's not Tebow, man. It was actually what's his name, man? Went to the Panthers, played for Auburn.
Oh, you talking about Cam Newton?
Cam Newton, he was third stringer for the Gators his freshman year. He came over to Auburn.
Top.
And didn't he go to like junior college for a year and then he came up to Auburn? It was something going on.
He got in trouble. With there was
yes,
top theft that went on.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes,
got booted he
was in. It was the Tennessee game, I believe it was. He's the one that my dad, man, couldn't stop talking about this play. It was like, I don't know, man. They went in from like the 2-yard line or something. Quarterback just boom. They put in Cam Newton, and he ended up he knocked Tennessee's middle linebacker flat on his ass and was standing over him like astride him on top, just looking down at him like, don't even know. No, that's 6, man. Just get out of my way.
Yeah, beautiful.
And it was Cam Newton, if I remember right. That's like it has that. What was the one in I think it was the Tennessee game where Tebow does the whole thing and he was yelling back over at the coach, ride that horse, I'm your horse, that whole famous. Oh man, I think it was Cam Newton, man, that came in. He just stood over Tennessee's middle linebacker and dared him to get up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like my dad was going, "Good God, Florida's third string quarterback just pancaked the middle linebacker of Tennessee." I said, "Well, that's Tennessee, Dad."
Well, yeah. All right. Hey, I'm out of here, dude.
Yeah. Good luck on Saturday, man. Beat Tide.
The tide rises, the tide falls.
And so Saban's not coaching. That doesn't freak me out much at all. That just means there'll be less cussing on the Alabama sideline.
Yeah, be on the sideline. I mean,
he's got coaches. He's got all week now, pretty much, to get ready for that.
Taking over the responsibilities.
There you go. And as long as he's sober, they've got a chance.
Ooh, snap! All right.
No, I'm not trying to rag. I'm glad for him. They mentioned him in the game. I was watching the game Saturday. Yeah. And they mentioned him about something, and I was just like, "Yeah, man, I'm glad." And I'm glad Saban gave him a break too, man, because that was a pretty big fall from grace he had. So it was cool. Saban picked him up. A lot of people didn't think that was the right thing to do. They didn't think he made a good choice, but hey, look, he's doing all right. What is this? Libraries rock, y'all. Watch out. This guy is subversive socialist. I may look like the gangster here, whatever, with the beard and shades. But
I'm putting your tag.
This guy, he's a librarian. So yeah, and so hey man, he's gonna take off, and I'm gonna just back talking later. Like we can get like 10 people on here, but all you got to do is you can take said right there, StreamYard.com. Charlie Romeo, X-ray, Delta, Quidditch, X-ray, rucksack, and just come right up on the show like Mitch did, or you can, if you look down on the bottom, it talks about help and support this. I do. Have levels on Patreon. And I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I know dudes only got like $250 levels and crap. I don't even do that. No, I'll say about it real quick, and I'm not gonna mention it again. And I just want to say this. I pastored, like officially pastored, right? Like the sign out front on the church said, Reverend Gene, but Pastor Gene. But I never once, man, in that year and a half or whatever it was, ever preached a sermon about money. Not even no stewardship Sunday, nothing about tithing. That's why people told me I could be a salesperson. I got an offer once to sell Beamers, BMWs, like in my 20s. And I thought about it. I didn't do it because I never really found anything worth selling. I mean, I'm not trying to, be a minimalist or just say everything sucks or something. I don't know, man. I don't generally like bugging people to spend their money. Like, you really need this car and here's why. or, you know, what, even if it's something, but I'm gonna tell you about Karen Box, you know, that I get some pretty cool stuff because I can't wait to open up this package and see what's in it. And I'm gonna do it as soon as it shut. I mean, I'm gonna shut off the screen and my butt's gonna go right over there in my bedroom, which is just a few feet from this door. And Doris got me a subscription to it for Christmas. I guess it was like 3 years ago now. It's been a few years. And it was a Christmas gift. And so I kind of have this thing, you know, like, I mean, she was out of town one time. I come in once a month, you know, my package came in or something. And she was out of town for a few days, you know, and I waited to open it because, you know, it was a Christmas gift from her. So she might be asleep, you know, I don't know. I'll wake her up. I'll be like, yo, we got to like open up the Karen Box and see what I got, you know? And they always have it. And it's cool because I'm kind of hungry right now for whatever reason. And you almost always send you like a sample, like energy bar, like a Cliff Bar, but it won't be a Cliff Bar. It'll be some really cool, like they make them out of their kitchen or something, or in their barn or wherever, out in like the suburbs of some place, like in Oregon, like the suburbs of, if there was such a thing, of like of Bend, Oregon, you know, by a couple of old like hippie earth mother goddesses who ride mountain bikes 50 miles a day when they're not like baking these incredible energy bars they make or something. You know, I mean, they're really good, you know, really good stuff. And I wish I kept the wrappers of every one I've eaten over a few years, because I think to myself like, oh, I might want to order these one time. And so but hopefully I'll just, you know, kind of keep in mind, you know, I love Cliff Bars. But I have some days like I'm working on dropping my weight back down to do another Spartan race. And right now I'm at about I don't know, I'm somewhere between like 210, 215. And when I was racing in January, I was between about 190, 195. So, you know, I need to lose 15 pounds, maybe 15, 20 pounds. I don't know. But so every once in a while I'll do a really low calorie day. Like 1,300 calories, which is really low calorie, you know, for a guy. And figure in that I probably did like a workout at Orange Theory and burned, you know, 800, 900, maybe 1,000 calories, you know, in that hour, not to mention whatever during the day. And do like a 1,300 calorie day, and maybe a couple of them in a row. And then then I'll, you know, alter. I mean, it's not like I'm just doing that forever. And I found out like if I have 5 of my favorite Cliff Bars a day, that's the white chocolate and macadamia nut is my favorite. I love those things. And they're 260 calories a bar. So I figured, I did the math and I found out if I had 5 of those a day, plus 3 bottles of water, you know, 3 of my water bottles, wouldn't be bad, you know. And you might say like, dude, man, that's harsh, man. Like have like 2 of those for breakfast and, you know, a liter of water, and then maybe have you know, go through the day, and then I work out in the afternoon, and then, you know, get home. Sometimes I walk in the park for a couple miles afterwards too. I'm starting to do that some, but didn't today. I need to get home, but you know, but yeah, I come home and have like say 2 more and a liter of water for dinner, and then, you know, around 9, 10 o'clock maybe have one, and, you know, another liter of water, and then get up 16 times during the night to pee or something. But, you know, I'm just saying, it's just like Cliff Bar math, you know. You have 5 Cliff Bars. What do you have? Food for the day, you know. But it's good to hear from Mitch. Like I say, you can just like put this link in your browser, and it'll bring you up on the show. And we can talk about whatever you want. Like I said, I want to have this like cross between like kind of like what if you had like a talk show and your panel was like The Dude, Amy Goodman, who you know, produces and is she is Democracy Now! Basically, along with some other really great people. The show Democracy Now! And Paul Feinbaum, who is kind of Mr. SEC talk show football guy. And if you're not, you know, maybe you're not into college football, and I understand that. You just gotta say, it's kind of a weird thing. It's like, you know, I called up Channel 20 News a couple of weeks ago. I was trying to get some press coverage for something. Some people were doing here in Ocala, and I call it not the sports desk, but the news desk. Channel 20 is the ABC news, you know, ABC TV station in Gainesville, Florida, which is the home of the University of Florida, which is the home of the Gators, right? And so I called up the head news guy, And we talked for a couple of minutes about the story, the event. But we're actually on the phone like I don't know, man, another 5-6 minutes, man, discussing like Florida's defensive issues in the season and COVID affecting the SEC and just whatever. And a friend of mine who's not so much into college football is like, dude, like the news, did you call the sports desk? I said, no, I called the news desk. I said, this time of year, man, you got to know about, this is the SEC country here, right? So I've got these friends, like you're going to meet Warren Tidwell. I'm doing a podcast with him tomorrow evening. We had it planned for last night, and he got a really good deal on getting some money back on something he bought, some gear he bought. And so I was like, dude, bro, go to that store, man, get your money, And so he's going to be on tomorrow evening, and we'll tape it and have it up on the Patreon site. I don't know, maybe tomorrow night. If not, I would say by Friday evening. It's usually within 24 hours. And Warren is one of his, he has a organization, hometownaction.org, I believe it is, in Alabama. And he's based out of Auburn, Alabama. There you go, SEC, you see. And he, among other things, he is the state outreach director for Hometown Action. And Hometown Action is basically like a collaborative effort, a coalition kind of thing, organization. So there's, around the state, they do a lot of good stuff for like poor people and, working with people of color and just, it's a progressive organization, man. It's trying to, get people's mind and hearts right, in Alabama. And, so, he's one of my friends who is more conservative than me would say is Warren's a lefty. Well, he does know Bernie Sanders. He was on town hall with Bernie Sanders recently. And he's in the middle of a project, and I'll just give you a teaser. He's in the middle of a project to raise some money, and half of the money is to pay a fine for when they do the thing they're raising the money to do. And I'll just say, I'm going to leave it at that, and he can tell you about it on the podcast, or if he comes on the show tonight. And he just came on, Alexander Watson, love you, bro. We got to get back out to the hammock, man, and do some drumming, play some music, right? I think Soul Essentials, Jen, the store down in Fort King. I think, my friend Mary Ann. Oh, Lord, I hit the wrong button on my cell phone next to me, and Exodus is playing through my headphones on the desk. I suddenly started hearing Exodus, movement of Ja people. But anyways, it's off my drumming list. But speaking of drumming, I think it's, according to my friend Mary Ann, who stays pretty much in the know with what's going on at Soul Essentials, here in Ocala, I guess there's going to be a drum circle on the porch. So Alexander, man, you got to come down, bro. I'm definitely. I haven't got Lala's head tightened yet. Lala's her head, her head's not on tight. I name my drums, man. So there's Preacher Man is my big one. My main one is Stormbringer and Lala, because that was the little drum. I think you were there. I had given to her years ago, and after her death, it came back to me. And the guy that was supposed to tighten the head, he hasn't got his tools or something, so I'm gonna have to get someone else to do it. But I will not play that drum until the head is properly tightened, so it has the sound it should have. Because it should just it should have a pop to it, and it needs that. But I'll have my other two drums for sure, and we will get down. And man, I wonder, maybe there'll be pizza. I don't know, man. I'm getting hungry. I had like I say, a cup of rice or some fried rice or something this morning. Like, I don't know, around like 11 o'clock, maybe something like that. And a 300 milligram caffeine Rockstar marshmallow flavor. So there's some good health food for you, right? Training for Spartan races and like living on Rockstars. And actually, Joe DeSena, who's kind of the founder and CEO of Spartan Race Incorporated, in his books, he's written several books. I highly recommend them. There's 3 of them he's written. I can't remember them now. Spartan Up, I think, is the first one. I can't think of the other 2 right now. I'll mention them. I'll bring them another live stream. But he specifically in his books mentions about like eating right, having good nutrition, especially on race day, because you're going to spend a lot. I mean, Spartan races are no joke. I just did a sprint. It was like, less than 4 miles. And I'm telling you, man, it beat my ass. Man, like Army beat my ass. You know what I mean? Like serious, like running the O course beat my ass kind of thing. Like highly motivating PT. And he says, he talks about, don't be like drinking no Rockstars. And that's what I had today for breakfast, was like about a cup, fried rice and a 16-ounce Rockstar. and proceeded to blab my ass off on the porch at Soul Essentials, and then go do my workout. That went okay. That wasn't bad. My heart monitor went gray, so I don't know exactly how I did on my workout statistically. I always say when it goes gray, that's when I'm working out so hard, I'm having an out of body experience, man. Like my spirit is separated from my body. And actually, I don't know who's doing the lifting or the running or the rowing, because like my body's lifeless on the floor, and that's why it's showing gray for a heartbeat when it should be in the red or something. But anyways, so yeah. So if wherever you're at and you hear this, man, come to Soul Essentials, California, Florida, probably about this time in the evening, I would imagine. It's starting to get a little dusky here now, 7-ish maybe. What time is it? 6:45. Yeah, but there'll be a drum circle going on, and sometimes there's a little food there. You never know. But so that's on when is Halloween, man? Like in 2 weeks, right? 16 days. So hey, if you're here in Ocala or Marion County, or up in Gainesville, that's not too far, 36-mile drive. Come down, bring your drum, whatever, hang out. You don't got to have a drum, man. Everybody just hangs out. It's a cool porch. It's kind of like if Southern Living Magazine went on tour with the Dead, that would kind of be what this porch is like. And that, it would be like Southern Living meets Jerry Garcia or something. And but with 16-day notice, I mean, like Mitch, you could come down from Pennsylvania. Warren, you definitely can make it down from Auburn, Alabama. Adele, if you're watching, you're out there in Sacramento. I know you just got a really cool house with a very nice porch. Your porch would be. We should make this a traveling tour of porch concerts, because I value your hospitality. The couple of days, whatever, I was in Sacramento and a place to stay and everything, and would love to see you again. But thinking of that porch you got at that new house, man, that's some serious djembe porch right there. Definitely. I want to get one of your photos of your new porch, man. Send it to some of my friends like in West Africa who djembe follows over there, man, because they probably see that porch and go nuts. They would be like, dude, like wood porch like that. I was telling someone today how drumming, like in church, I've done a lot of drumming in church. Pastors, if you're listening to this, if anyone is listening to this, do not put carpeting in your church. There's 4 main reasons why. I will come up with it, the 10 commandments of why you shouldn't put carpeting in your church. In fact, I'll probably put that in as appendix 1 to the book I want to write called A Heretic's Guide to Authentic Worship. The 10 reasons why you should never have carpeting in your church. But I can think of 4 right off the top of my head. 1, it's a waste of money. Okay, that's 1. 2, how many what's that big joke, right? Like churches don't divide over like schisms anymore over like, say, some heresy or something. It's more like I wanted a green carpet and they wanted blue. So, or maybe it's red carpet, blue carpet, right? Is a symbolic thing of what's going on, Trumpism in the churches. I don't know. But yeah, it's a waste of money. It's just another stupid decision that has to be made that 75 years from now, there's 2 churches that are, a half mile away, and someone's telling their grandkids, well, what happened was 75 years ago, somebody wanted a blue carpet. We said, no, we can have a red carpet. And they said, no, it's going to be blue. And you see it goes on and on. Now, the 2 things I want to bring up, though, one is it destroys acoustics, man. But more important, maybe even more than that, as soon as you put that carpet in, right? It's like padded pews, man. As soon as you put that in there, now you got to worry about things like, what if someone spills their coffee on it, right? What if a homeless person, maybe who, to be honest, maybe they haven't had an adequate personal hygiene for a week or more, right? They might get that velour or whatever on those pads on the pew, a little dirty or something, right? Or whatever. Or someone might track mud in on their boots, man, because they didn't have that nice car to get to church. And maybe that was the day, man, they just felt like the Lord called them to be there, or something. And they walked a few miles, right? Who knows, right? So from a socio-political, economic, theological, red letter Jesus perspective, I don't know, man, if your carpet's the way to go like that. And then I would add also as a musician, as a drummer, though, like I was telling this person, I said, One time I got to play in a little wooden Methodist church, very small, like farming, corn, like tiny little corn farming town in like southern Indiana. I think it was Indiana, and a little Methodist church. A friend of mine pastored, and we had a kind of like a band. It was when I was in seminary in Kentucky, and we got together and we played some. And so we went to play that day, play a few songs. And it was like a wooden, like this was an old church that was built like that, probably back like when the Wizard of Oz movie was made, right? Picture a little Methodist church in the black and white portion of the Wizard of Oz. Okay, that's in Kansas, but this would be very similar. And it was that kind of a picture that. And so there was no carpeting. And I loved it. And my friend who was the pastor, I thanked him later. I said, you have no idea. He says, man, your drumming sounded great. And I said, no, I wasn't playing my djembe. I had one drum there. I wasn't playing my djembe. I was playing the church. Because when you're playing like a djembe, if you get that, get that resonance going, right? So it's playing into the floor. Eventually, man, you're just like playing the church, man. You can feel it. You can hear it. You can sense it. And when you play on carpeting, it's just like, it sounds like shitting on a rug. I'm sorry. I mean, it just does. No, I mean, not always. It's what you make of it, and you can mic it, and you can do a lot of things. But if you want to hear some great, hand drumming sound in the church, or great sound period, man, you just got to have the wooden floors, man. Wood rafters, man. Shake that place, man. Right? I mean, I don't know how much wood was in James Brown Church and the Blues Brothers, but have you seen the light? You drum in a place like that, you get a few people drumming, and maybe you get some other instrumentation in there that maybe isn't even, say, electronic, right? I like that idea of what I don't know what you call it, non-electronic, right? Maybe you have a mic to amplify it, like an upright bass instead of a electric bass, right? Or so maybe you got somebody or a couple people with djembes and whatever, and so instead of having like maybe a regular drum kit, of course that's not electronic, but but you get what I'm saying, man. It's like organic instruments, organic instrumentation, and you playing in a place like that, boom, man. Right? Maybe even in a stone type church. I don't know. Maybe that would have some interesting. But carpet, oh. And man, how am I going to play drums in church, man? If I ain't got like my Monster, my energy drink, right? I might spill my Monster on your carpet, and that would just sort of be karma for crappy acoustics, right? I don't know. But two things I'd like to see taken out of every church that has them in the United States would be like carpeting, at least that plush kind of, carpeting, and the flag, the U.S. flag. For that matter, the Christian flag, because it's based on the U.S. flag. And I'm not trying to down the United States, but I'm saying, like if you go most places, I think I've seen the Union Jack and maybe some Church of England churches. I don't know if they've, but then that might have been years and years ago. But like if you go to like, I don't know, Paraguay, right? Say you went to some church in Paraguay, you're not going to see the Paraguayan flag, or at least not, in some place of honor or something. It's supposed to be bigger than all that nationality stuff. I mean, I could see if like, something like say when 9/11 happened, right? And maybe you're having like a national day of prayer, or for the country, or maybe like Memorial Day or something. Right? I'm not trying to be a hard ass. I could see it in using it as like a proxy or a fetish, an object to direct energy and attention toward. And we're going to pray for the country. So okay, boom, here's the flag. Boom, you can't like just put the country there and lay hands. So you have like the flag there or something. I can see that. I'm cool with that. But just that you got the flag in there. Like the church I was at in Mississippi was like I walked in and boom, there was a flag. There's a Christian flag. And the first thing I thought was, man, I wish these weren't in here. Second thing I thought was, man, I'd love to bring this one up with a church session. The third thing I thought in very quick order was, there's just some battles you don't fight, man. Napoleon said the first thing is have the superior geography or something like that, right? Well, there's just some battles. Like if it's a battle over something about, well, these kind of people can't be in our church, something like, I would definitely, that's a battle to fight. That's a battle to die over. You know what I mean? But if it's just simply you've had the U.S. flag in here probably since, well, before it had 50 stars even, no, it's just some battle's not worth fighting. But yeah, man, not a lot of interaction tonight. So I don't know, man. If we had more, it seems I get less and less each time. I don't know. I could just come in. Maybe I'll just film myself meditating. But I've got my meditation cushion. And it's on a low table, just because I got this low table for free from the Swift store I used to work at, and it's just the right size and everything to put my meditation cushion on. But I hate it because I feel like I'm the abbot of like a Buddhist monastery that has no novitiates and no brothers. Because I'm up on sort of my raised. It's just a picture like a low Japanese table. It's maybe a couple of foot and a half high or something, foot high. But yeah, it'd be slightly raised, over the students, and except I have no students. So, but it's just I needed to put it somewhere, and I figured I'd put it under my meditation mat. And then I got this kind of cool Celtic knot sort of tapestry I've had for some years that I put on the wall behind it. And I did do I think for Easter Sundays, people said you should do a little kind of sermon, a homily for Easter. So I did, and I filmed it sitting there because that's the office wasn't really available then. And so I'm sitting on my meditation cushion and got the Celtic design behind me and, kind of raised up, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, man, I look like some kind of crazy cult leader or something, but, I don't know, man, I might start doing a Sunday thing again. I don't know. I've had this itch to preach again, actually to pastor again, but ain't nobody gonna have me pastor, man. I'll tell you that right now, the reason I'm not in the Presbyterian Church USA is when I resigned my church and I came back here for a year, and to my hometown, and this was my home, like Presbytery originally, St. Augustine Presbytery, and I went before the Committee on Ministry, and you're screwed when you go to see a COM meeting or any meeting. I don't care what it is. Before the meeting starts, they take the first 40 minutes and say the executive presbyter, basically the bishop, not to piss off the Presbyterians out there, because you call the executive presbyter a bishop, man, you fly in the face of 500 years, a few claymore swords, and some blood getting spilt. But I'm just saying, man, the big cheese, man, has that committee in that office talking about your ass for 40 minutes before they let you in. And there were no donuts on the table, no empty box of donuts. You know what I'm saying? So they were busy. And but anyways, yeah. So they were like, screw you, we don't want you back in the Presbytery. And so then I was down in St. Pete for a year, working with a buddy of mine, GW Roll. Not working with him, but he was definitely large and in charge, man. GW, I think the world of him, and I want to get him on the podcast. Y'all need to know who GW is. GW is he was a minister of social justice and outreach, whatever, at a thing called Missio Dei, which was an emergent holistic community church plant in St. Pete that I kind of got to be a part of for about a year. And he was quite the guy. And he's also known as kind of the, I want to get the title right, but kind of the homeless mayor of St. Pete, the official homeless mayor of St. Pete. He himself has been unhoused in St. Pete in years past. And, I have been unhoused. So we hit it off, and he's a bro, man. I love him, man, to the bottom of my heart. And so I was down there with him, and I was gigging. I call it gigging. I was doing pulpit supply in Presbyterian churches. And what it was is I was staying with a family, friends of mine, and the woman, the Kathleen, was a pastor at a local Presbyterian church. And part of her thing with me kind of moving in with them, I was in a place in my life I needed to not be alone. And but she also wanted to kind of rehabilitate. That's not the word. Re-energize. Revitalize. That's it. Revitalize me about being a minister. I'd gone through a horrible year and just kind of was just, life sucked. And she kind of, I could tell from the get-go, she kind of wanted to, get me energized. And she got me in with a little group of a little think tank of 3 or 4 other PCUSA ministers there in the Tampa Bay Presbytery of Tampa Bay, whatever, Presbytery of Tampa. And they got together once a week and just, had some coffee and a couple biscuits, and just, chat about how their sermons were going for the week and life, the universe and everything. And so I got into that. And anyway, so I got invited to preach. And, they have a thing called a pulpit supply list. Most denominations have them. And the thing is, in the Book of Order now, I made an A in my polity class being a Presbyterian minister because I knew I'd be breaking some rules. And if you want to be a rule breaker, you got to know the rule book cold, man. You got to know it better than the rule keepers. Okay. So I knew that, the pulpit list is suggested because there's 3 things a Presbyterian USA minister can do that I mean, they can get advisement, but when it comes down to it, it's their call. That person in the pulpit, this is their call. One is the scripture that will be chosen and preached upon for the week. Use the lectionary. I didn't use the lectionary out there because folks in my church didn't want me to, so I didn't. But they choose that. They choose the music, the hymns. Although, as it says, if you got a pianist or an organist, or you got a music minister, or you got other, you are not up there, you're not the big cheese with the music. It is advisable, that you would work with them. And I would say that's a very good idea because a collaboration is good. But when it comes down to it, like, at my church, boom, it's like I picked it, and or I shouldn't say my church. I hate that phrase. I said the church I serve. Church don't belong to nobody. So, especially not the pastor. But the other one, though, is who fills the pulpit in their absence. Say, pastor goes on vacation for a couple weeks. Pastor, theoretically, you could pick Minnie Mouse, man. You could pick Mickey Mouse, Daffy Duck, whatever. Daffy Duck preaching a sermon would be kind of funny, actually, for a lot of reasons. But, man, I have to see if that's on YouTube. I'll go as Daffy Duck once and do that. But anyways, yeah. So, but I got a really nasty call, man, from the new executive presbyter there because, I was cooking. I just pulled like a double shift or something. I worked at a Catholic rest home in the kitchen. And I done like a 10, 11 hour day or something. It's a long day. I mean, like I went in at like 7 a.m. and I was driving home at like 8:30 or 9 at night. It was a long day. And I get on the phone. She calls me on my cell phone, she said, I think it was, who authorized you to preach at churches in this presbytery? And I tried to be really nice and say, and she says, no, you're not on the pulpit supply list. And I think I did mention that you don't have to be, and that didn't make her happy. But it's kind of funny. I got a friend who owns a bar here in town in Ocala. I've known him a long time. He said, man, you lost your edge, bro. I said, why? He says, because the Gene I used to know, especially if you'd have cooked it for 11 hours or whatever as you did that day, driving home in traffic and call you on your cell. And I hate talking on my cell phone. I'm not a phone person when I drive. And yeah, he said, man, when she said, who authorized you to preach in those churches, you'd have just said the Lord, and you'd have hung the phone up and blocked her. And that's true. I probably would have, but I was trying to, I needed the money. I mean, that's not why I was preaching. I'm just saying it was nice that I was getting $150, because like I say, I was living tight. I was living in a cheap weekly pay hotel and living right on kind of the edge of kind of being homeless. I mean, I was like a 1 week's rent in the hotel from being a homeless person, and I was preaching in the pulpits of some of the nicer Presbyterian churches in the Tampa and St. Petersburg and Clearwater area, which I used to always get a kick out of. I remember one time I got invited to preach at a church. I guess it was in Tampa. I think maybe South Tampa. I believe that was the one. Yeah, it was in Tampa. And got invited to go to the yacht club. We went to the yacht club for dinner afterwards, which was great. And I actually still know the people that took me. I haven't seen them in a while. It's been a few years, but I know them, and they're wonderful people. And actually, it's really cool. It's pretty low key. It wasn't. I thought it'd be like the yacht club. Actually, it's pretty low key. And we had burgers. We just had some burgers and fries, and a Coke or maybe a beer. I don't remember. So it was pretty cool. But it was the yacht club, and. And then, so then I go home and I'm like staying, like in the Williams Hotel, man, overlooking Williams Park, man, which, just like I'm on the edge, man. I'm on the edge, man, of being on the street. And I'm having lunch at the yacht club after preaching at some, big old stone church, man. It's strange. It's a weird, weird world, man. But yeah. I should go. I'm going to have music on the next one. But I'm going to do it. I just want to do this just for the heck of it. Because it was fun. Here we go. That's cool. Mitch did that. Not the music. The music guys, that's through Phil Shepard out in, I believe still out in Westminster, Colorado. And so I got to tell you a funny story, man. When I was in Colorado, I was in Colorado on my road trip, on the Elvis Burger road trip this summer, which you can see documentary episodes of on my patreon.com site. And I just want to tell you this funny story. Then I'll tell you about the Patreon site. I guess, let's see. I got into, I woke up on the morning of July the 4th, at a rest stop on the interstate. Most of my where I stayed on this 2-month plus road trip was at rest stops, actually, in the back of my Kia Sorento named Snoopy. I stayed in some cases. Well, one case I stayed like 7-8 days in Missouri with a friend of mine and her husband. Well, now he's a friend of mine, so But I met him once or twice briefly, before then. But I've known her like 25, 30 years. But but I was staying here and there with friends, and also I think maybe 5 nights of it I was in a hotel room, maybe 6. I'm not sure, but it was not often. Any given night I was crashed out at a roadside rest stop on the interstate. So I was I think it's I-25 if I remember, that runs up Front Range. But I was at a rest stop just north of Las Vegas, Nevada, maybe a half hour on July 4th, and then drove up into Trinidad, Colorado, and then took the back way up into Leadville, which Leadville is the highest incorporated town in the United States. It's like it's either 10,251 feet or 10,451 feet, but it's a little over 10,000 feet, so it's up there. And so I went there, and then that night drove up to the trailhead for Mount Elbert, and decided on a whim. I got about 2 hours, good sleep maybe, crammed in the back of Snoopy with my gear at the trailhead, and got up and drank. I hate to say this. I did my first 14,000 foot peak. It's a 14,441 feet. And it was amazing. Oh my gosh. It was one of the highlights of the whole trip. It was one of the highlights of my life, to be honest. And I did it on 2 cans of Monster, 2 Gumi THC edibles. And somewhere along the way up above tree line, I had 2 Cliff Bars. And I had 1 Cliff Bar I found in my rucksack on the way down after I got back down the tree line. But yeah, so I got up, man, and just jacked a bunch of caffeine and sugar and some, edibles, and just hell with it, go up the mountain. I don't recommend to do it that way, but it was cool. It was all right. I got up there, I got down, it was good. But then, so that evening, I was oh man, I got down. I was like hypoglycemic. I had a bottle of IPA, man. Is it Space Dust IPA? Sitting behind my driver's seat, and I was so tired, I didn't even want to try to find it. And I just looked over, and there's a bag of trail mix I got at like a convenience store or something. And I was so tired, I didn't even have to lean to reach it. If I'd had to lean to reach it, I don't know if I'd have done it. But I got that. And I was listening to NPR, and there was an interview with Dr. Vincent Harding, who worked with Dr. King back in the day. In fact, he helped write the I Have a Dream speech. And it was an interview that had been done with him. There we go. An interview that a correspondent with NPR did with him a few years ago. It was, he died just a couple years ago. And it was maybe a year before that. And I had the opportunity to meet him at the Wild Goose Festival and spent some, I would say, quality time with him. Part of an afternoon, and then for a couple hours one evening at the Wild Goose Festival back in 2012. And so I'm sitting there, like, he had such a distinctive voice. If you ever heard Dr. Harding, he was an amazing human being. And I just, in the short time, I was around him maybe 4 hours total, really, with him. And like, he changed my life. There's people I've had, professors that I had numbers of classes with, and I think of them like, they had an effect on me. But I was around him like 4 hours, and he had that kind of effect on me. And so I'm sitting there just hypoglycemic, sitting in Snoopy at the trailhead to Mount Elbert, slowly munching on trail mix and drinking some water and listening to this really great interview with Dr. Vincent Harding. And I'm out in the middle of nowhere in Colorado, and it's kind of cool. And then I went into Leadville and decided I'd drive to Denver and see my buddy Phil and Steph. And so I get there, and they're house sitting for someone, right? I don't want to say who it is. It was kind of blew my mind when I found out. It's not like a big movie star or anything, but I think they want to be like, kind of keep it low key. So I'm not going to mention. I mean, it's nobody illegal, so it's not like Scarface or something. But anyway, so I get there and got in late, man, like 11:30 at night. and I'm still in like what I wore climbing. I got some compression shorts and like a Wickware t-shirt, and whatever. So, being it's Colorado, we, he saw to it that I was refreshed and invigorated, and so we sat up about an hour, and then I laid down on a nice sofa there, kind of lounge group, kind of wrap around, and I'm crashed out, and I'm not grubby dirty. Like I've been in a pig farm and like, shit's falling off me, but I had like ground in, I climbed a mountain for crying out loud, and, so I wake up the next day and I can't even move, man. It was the stiffest top to bottom I've been in a long, long time. And I don't think I was that stiff the day after the Spartan race in January, to be honest. I don't think I was. But yeah, it's I hear this woman's voice, coming in the front door. And I'm thinking it's his wife, Stephanie, coming home from work early that day. So I'm like, hey, I'm like, I don't even have my eyes open. I'm just laying on the sofa because I can't move. And I'm still like in my climbing clothes, haven't had a shower yet. I'm just grubby. And I'm like, hey, Steph, what's up? It's great to see you. I can't even move, man. I'm so sore. And I finally sit up, and it's some woman I've never seen her in my life. And she walked in like you knew, like she had a key to the front door. You know what I mean? And here's some grubby looking weird guy, like grubbed out on this nice sofa. And I'm just like, don't shoot me. I'm from Florida. I'm not, don't shoot me, But I said, yeah, I'm friends with Phil and stuff. Turned out it was the mom of the guy who had the house. He was coming home in a couple days, just for a visit for a couple days or something. And him and his wife, family, and she had come over and I guess was bringing over some groceries or something. I don't know. She's gonna make dinner for him or something the next day. But so she just like comes in and here's some strange guy she's never seen who looks like dirt, laying on the sofa. But she was totally cool. And I guess she was Colorado, man. So I said, yeah, I was climbing. She goes, yeah, you look like you're climbing. How was your climb? I'm talking to her like, don't shoot me. Don't call the cops, because Phil was like elsewhere in the house when she came in, right? I mean, a fair-sized house. And so he didn't hear none of this. And so this is me and her, right? So I'm saying, yeah, I know Phil, So I was like, yeah, don't call the cops, man. I'm cool, And she's just asking me like how the hike went, like, how was the weather up there? Yeah, I got a few friends that climbed up there and, and, so I don't know, Colorado, man, it's, I highly recommend it. And like, I'm going to get a Roger Woolsey. I have a confession to make. I never said I read the book, so it's not really a confession, but like this book was written, I was like 2009 or 2010. 2011, maybe. We're talking 10 years ago. And he wrote this book called Kissing Fish. And it's a really good book. And I would describe it as, for good or ill, he might hate, systematic theology is a phrase that some people just despise. And I think for good reason. But I would call it like a progressive Christian systematic theology. It's written in that style. But it's also a little more autobiographical. And it's not like totally dry, like, there are some systematic theologies that are so dry that if you were strong like Conan, you could just crumble. It would, like, instead of ripping the phone book in half, you would just crumble it into dust because they're so dry. They're just, oh my gosh. I think the ultimate would, not to bang on the Bardians, but Church Dogmatics by Karl Barth. I've read portions of it, but I mean, crying out loud, I read City of God cover to cover, and it wasn't even required for school. I just did it for fun. But I ain't tackling Church Dogmatics. 13 volumes of that? Oh no. It'd be like the salt monster in the Star Trek. Wasn't like one of the first Star Trek episodes? The couple, they were like salt monsters, and they'd suck the salt out of all the red shirt guys, right? Because they were so dried up, man. That'd be like Bart, man. You'd be in about like volume 7 of Church Dogmatics, right? I mean, in the middle. And like a gust of wind would like come through your window, and you would just blow away in a puff of dust because you had been so dried out by reading that dry systematic theology. But his book is much better. And I finally got around to reading it. He gave me a signed copy last year at Wild Goose. And we kind of literally kind of bumped into each other at the same vendor and get some information. It was an LGBTQ ministry. I want to say out of Colorado, but no, it's Rogers from Colorado. But it was some LGBTQ ministry, and I forget specifically what they were doing. But I remember their booth caught my eye, and so I was there, and I was asking the couple guys behind the table, and just getting some brochures, get some information about their ministry and whatever. And so Roger's there, and I was like, hey, you look really familiar. He's, yeah, you look familiar. And so we finally met. We'd known each other online, I don't know, like 10, 12 years. And so yeah, he had a Facebook page, like I have the Rucksack Revolution page and group. And it was Kissing Fish, and I followed it and loved it. I interacted with it. It was a great page, a lot of cool stuff there. I'd never read the book, and then last year in July, he gave me the book. He signed it right there, like he had his satchel with him or something, and he had 4 or 5 copies with him or something. It's like, hey man, here, and he signs the book like right there while we're talking with the guys, at the vendor booth, and so I'm gonna come home and read it. But what do you do? Like if you're like me, if you're like a lot of people that go to something like the Wild Goose Festival or conferences or whatever, you bought some books while you're there, right? Or people gave you books. I had every year I go to that, someone gives me 4 or 5 books, and I end up buying another 3 or 4 maybe, and so I spent the whole year like trying to read through them and still read the stuff I have at home I want to read. And anyway, so I didn't get around to reading the book. And all year it was like, I want to read this book. I really want to read Roger's book. And then I get on the road trip, and I was going to go see Roger in Grand Junction. I left Moab, but I went down south. I took the southern route down through from Moab down through the Navajo Reservation, Monument Valley, that area. I drove down, got to Phoenix, and spent a few days with my friend Julia Cruz and her family, where I did a really nice interview with her. And I really wanted to do I did interviews with people on the road trip. And I really want to do an interview with Julia because I've known her a long time. Well, not a long time, a few years. Seems like a long time. We're tight. And she used to be the studio manager at Orange Theory Fitness. And I will tell you right now, one of the reasons I was able to lose, 70 pounds, a little up now, about 50. But when I get back down to racing shape, it'll be back down to 70. But yeah, I lost like 70, 75 pounds, and a lot of it was her encouragement. I'll say this again about Julia. She didn't just clock out when the paperwork was done, running the studio. She got events. We had social events. We'd go out like the first anniversary when it was open. We were at El Toreo Mexican restaurant. It's this Mexican restaurant in town, having a blast, eating, having a beer or two, just, a whole bunch of us. It was a big group. And so, we do stuff like that. And like I said in the interview with her, you having a day, we just kind of come in like, oh my God, this is my 5th workout this week, and people are killing me. And you've lost, not that it's all about weight loss, don't get me wrong, but in my case, I had put on a lot of weight I needed to lose. And so for me, it was a lot of it was not just getting in shape and getting my, heart stronger, but it was losing weight. I had gotten up there, and I need to lose some pounds. And so, yeah, I'd come in, and she'd like notice, like, you look like you've lost a few pounds, I'd go look, and yeah, lo and behold, I'd lost like 2 or 3 pounds, and I'd be like, wow, okay, okay. I'm kind of pumped to go in and do my workout today. But anyway, so I went down to see her and then come back up to New Mexico to go to Mount Elbert. But I would have gone through Grand Junction. So then I said, well, I got to get Roger on the podcast. And we haven't set a date. I'll send him a message tonight. Unless, hey, Roger, if you're seeing this, man, I'm going to name, not like it's contract negotiations. So, I'll just, a few people that I've casually mentioned to, and not set a hard date yet, and I need to get that done in the next week. I'll say this last week my computer was down for doing podcasts, and I should have jumped on it and got these people setting dates. But one is Roger Woolsey, who is the author of Kissing Fish, which is quite honestly, I told you I'm a minimalist. I'm not down to 30 books like Marie Kondo or whoever says, but I've got a very small amount of books. I don't have a lot of books anymore. And so my theology library, let's say if I was to pastor again or something, or do some kind of ministry, it's small. If you've ever been to some pastors' offices, right? They got, like, my office was just wall-to-wall books. And it was too much for me to carry around. And that's when I started dropping my number. And for me personally, I think I realized it before I ever left there, but it was afterwards that it hit me like, that was insecurity on my part. It was true. I love books. I love how they smell, everything about books. And I could just walk up anywhere. I didn't even have them really organized. So I could just kind of walk up anywhere and just meander around. Oh, this is like a good book. I think I'll read this. But it also was like, it was my first pastorate, and I was the youth group. I was 45 and I was the youth group. You know what I mean? And I knew that, not heavy-handed. that's not the word I would use, but this church session, they never trusted me from the word go for the most part. And they were on me hard. And I guess, so I don't know, I hate to say it, but it's like, I guess when they walked in my office, they'd see all the books, it would be like, yeah, well, you know what, dude, I'm smarter than you. Okay. Like, see that degree on the wall, and not like I'm that arrogant kind of guy, but I think it was actually like an insecurity on my part. Not that I didn't set it up that way, but I realized in retrospect that a big part of, oh, look at all these books, because I could have had them at home. And that was a mistake I made too, man. Pastors, don't have your, especially them really good theology books, the ones that are super heretical, like say you're at, some older folk church like I was, and you got like Brian McLaren, or maybe you got like a copy of Black Power by Stokely Carmichael before he changed his name to Kwame Ture, right? Or something like that. Yeah, just keep the books at home, dude. But I had all my books in my office because that's what I did most of my reading in my office. And so then people come in and they see this stuff and they're just like, what? When I came in that office, there were 2 pictures on the wall, 2 8.5 by 11. One was white Jesus, I think it was the praying white Jesus, right? But white Jesus. And the other one was the guy who was the first pastor of this church. And he was in his Confederate Army uniform. Like he was an enlisted guy. So it grazed. I mean, it wasn't like, Robert E. Lee on a horse or anything. But he had been a soldier. I guess he wasn't from Mississippi, I don't think. He was, I forget where, maybe Georgia. I don't know. But he was a Confederate soldier. And he got captured it might have been the Battle of Shiloh. I can't remember. But they sent him to like a prisoner camp. And then they basically said, yeah, if you promise not to fight anymore and, you can go home. And of course, so what does he do? He goes, finds another battle. I don't have COVID. It's just recreational, whatever. Medicinal. Yeah. He got captured again. And I think he ended up and I can't think of the name of this camp. It was like the Andersonville of the North. It was kind of on the outskirts of Chicago or in Chicago. And I can't think of the name of it now, but Andersonville was the, infamous POW camp that the Confederates had that's down in Georgia that is now a national monument. I've never been there. I got to get there one day. it's one of those places I've been wanting to go there forever, just as a history person. I want to see it. But this one, I can't think of the name of it, but it was in Chicago and it was a Union POW camp up in the North. Anyway, so the war's over. He comes home. It's like the movie Cold Mountain, or the novel, he comes home from the North and he gets here and he came to Mississippi and he, somewhere along the way, man, he figured out he got on up with the Lord, And so his picture, though, he's in his Confederate uniform. So the 2 pictures in my office, the Church of Mississippi, I get there, is white Jesus. And I mean white Jesus. I don't mean Jesus was at the beach for a weekend, slightly tan Jesus. I mean white, like from the north part of Norway Jesus, And then this Confederate soldier turned minister. And there's just something, again, it was like the flag, man. There's just some things, man, you don't mess with, So, and I ended up finding it for some roundabout reason to keep him up there. I don't remember, but so I didn't mess with those, right? So I got white Jesus, and I got, and I cannot remember the pastor's name, but the first pastor of this church. And then I went on a road trip to the Cornerstone Christian Music Festival. I always wanted to go there when I was a kid, so I went, and it was cool, fun road trip. And then I went to Mother Jones' grave in Mount Olive, Illinois. That was cool. And coal miner's friend. And I went to the Arch, went up in the Arch in St. Louis, and the museum underneath. Wasn't quite as cool, but the Arch was cool. And I went to Clarksdale, Mississippi, and went to the Blues Museum and Cat Head Records, which I got to go back to because I was kind of drunk at a gig drumming at St. Augustine Beach. 10 years ago. And I gave my cat head hat to a woman there. And I should have never done that. Best baseball cap I ever owned. It's also the best blues record store probably in the universe. So I gotta go back to Cat Head and get me a hat. But anyways, what was I talking about? So on the trip though, I went to when I went to the International Blues Museum, I bought a big poster of Robert Johnson, the famous one. Like, if you ever got his collected recordings, he's kind of like he's sitting in a chair. He's just sitting in a chair, got his guitar, and like a bottle of booze next to him or something, a bottle of whiskey. And it's the famous blues guitarist Robert Johnson. So I got a big Robert Johnson poster at the Blues Museum in Clarksdale. And when I was coming down through Memphis, along with going to Goo Goo's Chicken, which Goo Goo's closed from what I heard now, but if you never ate at Goo Goo's, man, that was like tourists go there, but it's like because it's a local place tourists know about, and I went in for Friday, man, got the catfish all you could eat dinner, in Memphis at Goo Goo's, but I also went to the Lorraine Motel, where Dr. King was assassinated. And they have, it's a civil rights museum now. First civil rights museum I ever went to. I went to, I've been to some since on this road trip. I went to the new one in Jackson, for example. It's maybe 2 years old now. But I went to the Lorraine. And when I was there at the gift shop, I got a big poster of Martin Luther King. And it's a photo. You might be familiar with it. It's a photo. He's like standing by his desk and he has a photo of Gandhi. I think it's a photo, maybe a painting, but behind the desk. And I don't remember the quote that was on that particular poster now. I don't have it anymore. But anyway, so you got white Jesus and you got the Confederate guy who is the first pastor of the church in these little 8.5 frame things that look like they've been on the wall since 1954 or something. And on the wall next to it, between them, I got my whiteboard on one side, and then I got their two pictures, and then I got the big poster, and it's just like stuck on the wall, like I use thumbtacks, like the Eternal Bachelor or something, right? I didn't even frame it. It was so inappropriate it was not in decency and good order. And but I got this big poster of Martin Luther King, and then when you close the door where I hung my clergy attire, on the wall behind it. So like if I was in there with, the church session met my office. They gave me the copy room for an office. It wasn't going to work. I'm low key, man, but this was not going to work. So I just took the session room, and it was because they're never there except once a month anyways. So I just took it. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be really cool with the session. I just like that. This is it. If anybody complains, then I'll change. Nobody complains. So I'm like, all right. But they come in, and so I closed the door for the meeting, and there's a poster of Robert Johnson, man. So it's like I got these two giant posters of Robert Johnson and Martin Luther King Jr. It's like Jupiter next to like Mars or something, right? And then you got like white Jesus and the Confederate pastor, and that's cool. I respect him, and I'd like to have met him. I wish I could remember his name because he must have had an amazing story. I mean, the story that was relayed to me. It's like the novel Cold Mountain, and the guy having to come home from the war and all the horrors he saw and deprivation in the war. And then he's got to deal with, I don't know, man, like highway robbers and God knows what, getting home. He wasn't coming home to, he was married in Cold Mountain, right? He's not coming home to a woman, to his wife. He's just trying to get somewhere. And so it probably was an amazing story, but still, anyways, so time's going on, man, and I'm just kind of blabbing, and it's supposed to go like 2 hours. And like I say, if you want to get on, just this link, put it in your browser, or you can go to want to be a guest on the show, Patreon/RucksackRev, and that's the site, and you can the idea of this free streaming was so people would see what it was about. But I'll just tell you about the Patreon site. It's a Venmo and PayPal. Like I said, I don't like money. But the idea was, on the road trip, I said something to Mitch. Because how this road trip started was a friend of mine, his dad died in Kentucky. And he sent me a text. He lives up kind of northwest of me a ways. And he says, yeah, man, my dad died. And if I give you the gas money, can you drive me up to Kentucky this weekend? Up near Covington and, to his funeral. And I'm like, of course, this guy's a friend of mine. He's like a brother. So I'm like, yeah, sure, man. And so Doris and I are eating dinner, and she got some Outback or something, brought it home. So we're eating. I'll tell her about it. And she's been working at home, and I'm basically driving her up the wall and it's driving me up the wall because she's working out of the kitchen and the living room, whatever, what she does. And so I'm in my bedroom a lot. It just, I'm not blaming her. It's not that she's doing what she's doing. Right. But I was starting to climb the walls a bit, and I was driving her nuts. And, she's like, oh, I think it's a great idea, and you sound like you want me out of the house for a while. I said, no, I'm just saying. Well, it turned out he didn't need a ride. He had a cousin that drove him up. So then I'm like, she's like, no, really, you should go on a trip. And I'm like, what, like a few days? Because I'll take a week, man, whatever. So I get a hold of Mitch and I said, Mitch, man, looks like I got a road trip for a week, maybe a week and a half. What should I do? First thing Mitch comes back with is like, did she kick you out of the house? Did you piss her off? And I'm like, no, it's just a temporary thing, you know. I had another friend one time that shipped my butt up to see Mitch when he was still living in Georgia for a week over July 4th, 6-7 years ago. My roommate, she was like, I've had enough of him. You take him for a week. So I went up there and hung out, and it was low boil week. Like they had this thing, him and his buddies, each night, one place, they did a low country boil. And then everybody showed up at their house. So it was like basically for a week. I just went around all week, like eating corn and shrimp and sausage and potato, you know, low country boil and drinking some beer and seeing some friends, man. It was pretty cool. But yeah, so I just go on this trip. He says, look, man, you need to go to the Pink Cadillac Diner in Natural Bridge, Virginia and get an Elvis burger. And I'm like, all right, fair enough. So I get up there. The place is closed for a week. So I call Mitch up. Mitch says, oh, I knew that. He just wanted to get me out on the road again. So he says, so where are you going to go? I said, well, I think I'm going to come up to Pennsylvania and see your ass first. But so I did go see him. But then I went up to Maine and Rhode Island because I'd never been to Maine and Rhode Island. So I was like, yeah, go check out these states. So then I'm heading home, and Doris was still like, yeah, you know, take a few more days if you want. And I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. I've been to Gettysburg. I've been to Kennebunkport, Maine. You know, I've drank rum on the beach where the Bushes hang out up by their compound, you know, like 9 a.m. I'm drinking, you know, rum and juice and playing my drum on the beach and shooting a video and, you know, talking about world peace and whatever. And so my buddy Turk, old Army buddy, my battle buddy, one of my best friends in the world, he's a brother. He's out in Portland, Oregon. We've been talking, and one night he just says, hey, while you're out and about, could you come out to Portland? And I said, man, I got the money to get to you, bro, but I don't have the money to get home. So Mitch is like, dude, we will finance this trip. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, man, just keep shooting videos, traveling, interacting with people, you know, interviews, whatever, man. Like, you go on the road, dude. Take a show on the road. And lo and behold, I didn't believe it would happen, but lo and behold, yeah, I mean, people like, well, one of my old high school friends who's done well for himself in life, and loves to hike and camp and also enjoys a fine bourbon sometime. We got to get together and have one. He put some money forward for like a nice chunk, to be honest, you know, to keep making the videos, you know, and people sent money and it was like, you know, enough. It was enough, dude. And throughout the trip, I'm talking a couple $1,000s all put together. And it wasn't like somebody sent $1,000. It wasn't like that, but people like here, you know, and then people helping out along the way. I got some, you know, like food coupons, you know, like here's a $20 thing for Burger King, you know, that kind of thing. And, you know, staying with people. And so it was just a lot of hospitality and just a lot of fun and then going out and seeing the US, you know, and everything from, you know, Buffalo and the Grand Tetons to, I actually came across a bear almost face to face in the Sierra Nevadas driving late one night. I don't have any video of that. It happened so quick. He was like in the road, right beside the road. I came by with my window down. I'd almost stopped because he was trying to cross the road. I thought he was going to crawl on top of the Kia, and he didn't. I mean, he was thinking about it, but he didn't. Thank God. I would have had front end damage. But anyways, and then I realized when I'm passing him, right there, I was like, I could have reached out and, you know, punched him in the head. And I realized I had my window down. I was like, oh, and it went by, man, and like got to feel bear breath on my arm. You know, my arm was actually in the window. I'm driving by like, hey, bear, what's up? He's looking at me, you know. Then he went his way. But yeah, I just, you know, saw a lot of cool stuff and was in the autonomous zone up in Seattle. Got some live footage up in there and just saw some different people all around the nation. So it was like, you know, national parks and cities. And we talked about COVID and we talked about BLM and we talked about just, you know, where are we at as a nation? What's going on? You know, I kind of went out and took the pulse of the country for like 2 months. And it all started as a 3-day road trip because, you know, a friend of mine's dad died. And I never did actually do that part of it. But so anyways, so we got the Patreon thing going. And so here was the deal. Mitch took all the video footage and he's been, you know, playing around with it and whatever. And he has made it into a documentary. Right now, I think we're at 14 episodes maybe. And I'm kind of starting a return trip. We're talking But every week, man, he drops an episode on the Patreon site. They anywhere from about 40 minutes to I think a couple are a little longer, closer to an hour maybe. But and it's actual documentary, more or less, of the trip. And so there's that. And so for $3 a month, right, for support, just $3 a month. What is that? 10 cents a day, right? At least in a month like September, 30 days. So for a dime a day, drop a dime, right? And so you can see all the episodes as they come out. New one should probably, I don't know, you may have posted it yesterday, or maybe it'll be this week. It's pretty much one every week. Usually it's early in the week, Monday, Tuesday, something like that. And so there's that. So that's for 10 cents a day, $3 a month. And for $6 a month, I call that the ramen level, $3 a month, like I can afford that. $6 a month, so that's 20 cents a day. $6, then you can go to Starbucks for $6, right? There's the documentary every week. And then also I do 2. Last week I wasn't able to do it because I had camera issues. And now suddenly my camera was totally broken. Now suddenly it's working great as soon as I get another camera. So now I have a spare camera, which is a good thing to have. But I do a video podcast, and I've had a variety of people. And what I like about how I do my podcast, they're usually about an hour. I actually did a 2-hour one with a friend of mine, poet laureate of Alachua County, Florida, Stan Richardson, great guy. But I've interviewed a number of poets, different people. I did 2 interviews out of Berlin, Germany, a couple of weeks ago. It's actually a married couple, and one of them is a professor of sociology who's teaching. He's kind of like an adjunct visiting professor at the Free University in Berlin, Germany, and his wife is with him, and she is actually a hospital administrator from France. She's French, and he and I talked about a whole bunch of stuff. She and I specifically talked about healthcare. People talk about, I'm an advocate for socialized medicine in the United States. And so we talked about, I didn't really know the differences between German and French. There is a difference. It's not just like there's European and it just works kind of the same way everywhere. But Germany has kind of how they do it, and France kind of has how they do it. And she really knows about America, of course, has their way, which is kind of up yours for a lot of people. And she's lived in the United States, and she's is French citizen and actually became a hospital administrator. So she knows the French medical system in and out, just boom. And living in Germany now and already was familiar with the German system as a French administrator, but now she lives in Germany. So she's hands-on experienced and received care through systems in all 3 places. And so we talked about that. At the same time, I've had people on, like my friend Scarlett Kofer, ScarlettKoferArt.com. And Scarlett, I think she's an incredible person. She's not famous. She's not Frida Kahlo, I mean, as much as she loves Frida, but she's not Frida Kahlo, of course, who is, but Frida's gone now. But she's not, some world famous artist. She's doing her thing, but she's an amazing person. And so what I like to do with my podcast is have, I've got I want to have Roger Wolsey on, right? Who wrote this book, Kissing Fish. And, he would probably say, well, I'm not a big shot. I kind of think he's a big shot. He wrote a book, right? So, another one is Claudio Carvallis. Claudio and I actually knew each other when we were both students. He was doing his PhD while I was doing my master's. And years went by, we're still in touch. And he's now teaching at the school we were at, Union Seminary. And he just sent me his latest book. It's he didn't actually write the whole thing. It's very interesting. It's a collection of prayers written by actually a consortium. Maybe that sounds too corporate, but a group of people. And they went out to, it's 4 places in the world. They were in Italy. It's like a big funded project. They were in Italy, in a town that a lot of refugees coming from, say, Syria, North Africa, other places, boat people come in at. And they were in the Philippines, in several locations in the Philippines, in some of the, just economically deprived areas or areas that have underwent military purges. We're talking about, as he puts it, the people at the ends of the earth, or you might say the untouchables, the poor people, right? like people that just, man, things are bad. And so they were there in the Philippines and in Italy and Kingston, Jamaica. They were in Trenchtown. And they went to a Rastafarian community up in the mountains also. But the idea was to get away from, whatever, this idea is one of my professors liked to say when I was in seminary is that a lot of people seem to think that the center of the Christianity today is like Dallas, Texas or something. It's like it's the Bible Belt. And he says no. And so they were looking at going to these places. What was the other one? It was Jamaica, Italy, Philippines, and crap. I don't remember now. Did I have somewhere? Let's see. It was in Africa, and I can't think where it was now. They were at, but Johannesburg, South Africa. They were in South Africa, and so they lived in these communities and shared with the people, and people shared with them, and they broke bread together, and had church together, and it's a series of liturgical prayers, call to worship, benedictions, whatever. It's a prayer book. And it was written in conjunction between this wide variety of people were involved in this. Some were like professors, and some were like students, and some were like just people that just got involved. It wasn't just, people with PhDs hung on the wall. And then, of course, the people they were with in these other places in the world we're talking the poorest of the poor in a lot of places. And they got together and they wrote poems and they wrote prayers. And prayers really are like poems. They wrote these pieces about social justice and about beloved community and about, these kind of things, thy kingdom, the Lord's Prayer talks about thy will be done on earth as in heaven, right? And, talking about that, or it's also called a kind of like praying with your feet, praying with your hands, not just, dear Lord, may like starving people have food to eat, but actually being involved in things that, and not just saying, oh, here's a bag of rice, but like the famous saying by Dom Helder Camara, who was a theologian and priest, religious figure in Brazil back in the day, said, when I feed the poor, they call me a saint. When I ask why there are poor people, they call me a communist. And one thing drives me nuts is how far is someone willing to go in advocacy for other people? So I know pastors that are like, I know it right now here in Ocala. I ain't gonna name no names. I ain't gonna shame nobody. But it's like Trumpism, I believe, is infected, especially evangelical churches, in a way that is not unakin to Hitler in the 30s in Germany. I know pastors that personally would say, I would get involved with Black Lives Matter, or I would get more politically involved in advocacy, say, for homeless people, unhoused people. But how can I do that, right? They won't come right out and say it, but basically what you've got is milquetoast liberals combined with Trumpsters in a church, and Trumpsters don't want to hear none of that. So, right, because they're all lives matter. So what do you mean the pastor's like in a BLM march? Also, on the other hand, and I noticed this in talking with several Black pastors in the community that I've been around and done things with, that I noticed in some cases, there are things that white pastors in town that I know will basically say, well, now, I can't get involved in a political thing. And I can take the same flyer or describe the same situation to say a Black pastor in town, pastor, say Missionary Baptist Church or AME Church or whatever, someone I know, and they would be like, hey, man, I'm interested in this. And I'll see if I can, find the time to be involved. And I was talking with one of them, a friend of mine, and one of the pastors, and I brought that up. And then he asked me, he says, why do you think that is? And I said, I said, all I know is like my friend Mitch said this really great thing. And I've seen some memes kind of like it on Facebook since. And it said there's politics and there's justice. And a lot of people don't know the difference. So it's like, I can disagree with you politically, right? As my friend Mitch says, he lives in a small town in Pennsylvania, a few thousand people. And him and Dave's Delicious Delights, cheesecake. And he says politics is like, okay, we're going to have a referendum on the city ballot or the county ballot to build a bridge across the river, because that when the bridge is built, we can get to the next town in 15 minutes instead of 30 minutes. So is it worth it to raise our sales tax or our property tax or whatever to build the bridge? He said, that's politics. So maybe you don't want the bridge built and I do. Hey, we can agree to disagree. But when it's something that's justice, okay, so here's the deal, man. Kids in cages, that's not politics, right? Maybe there's politics involved, but that's not politics, right? Black Lives Matter, that's not politics, okay? That's human rights, right? That's civil rights. That's social justice, right? Okay. So if you disagree, I may have an issue with that, right? That's not politics. And I noticed that a lot of white pastors, a lot of white people have a hard time telling the difference between what's politics and what's justice. Or maybe I think they do know the difference, especially pastors. I think pastors know the difference, but they're scared. I'm going to say it. I used to be a pastor. So I've been up. I mean, come on, man. I pastored a rural, country, elderly, conservative congregation in a town of under 1,000 people in Jones County, Mississippi, which, by the way, was the home of the Grand Dragon of the KKK, Sam Bowers, back in the 1960s. And I had several members of my church, even on the church session, who knew Sam Bowers back in the day, right? They call him Sammy, right? Sam Bowers, I forget if it was a shoe store, clothing store, whatever, on Broad Street, Market Street, or the main street in Laurel, Mississippi, which is sort of the nearest town of any size. It's kind of the county seat or whatever. And actually, Jones County has 2 county seats. It's a weird story, but Laurel's kind of like here in Marion County, it would be what Ocala is, except it's smaller. And they actually knew Sam Bowers. I was sitting in my office one day reading. Who's the guy that wrote the 3-part series on the King years? I want to say Claiborne, not Shane Claiborne. So I've been out of seminary a while. I can't remember a damn thing, man. I used to know all this stuff cold, man. I was into academics. Anyways, great series of books. And I was in the middle of reading one, and I was actually reading about Sam Bowers. And this guy comes in, old guy, he's about 90 years old. He wasn't on the board, but I knew him at the church. Good guy. We used to watch college football together. But I come in, he says, "Hey, what you reading, Pastor?" And I said, "Well, right now I'm reading this book about the civil rights movement. And actually I'm reading this thing about Sam Bowers, like he lived right there in Laurel, man, 7 miles away." He said, "Oh yeah, Sammy, man. Yeah, I knew Sammy. I was living all the way up in, Yazoo City up in the Delta then." And I'm just sitting here going like, "Holy crap, man, where am I?" And I'm like in the sequel of Mississippi Burning or something. And but I understand. I understand what it is. So I remember, man, I preached about Martin Luther King one time, and I was involved working with some, black churches and black pastors, working alongside folks and learning a lot of things. And it was just to see my friends were, it wasn't like an intentional thing per se. It was just people I knew, man, and so there was people in my church who were kind of uptight about that. So I understand. I know what it feels like. In this case, it was Obama, was president, and I got to Mississippi the week he was elected. My first Sunday was 2 days before he was elected president, and my installation Sunday the next week was at the end of that week. So I was in Mississippi the week Barack Obama was elected president, and I can tell you, man, the folks in the town I was at, they were freaking out, really freaking out. And here I am, I totally supported Obama, right? And it's funny because when I visit around, I do a lot of visitations when you're a country pastor. I was a country squire pastor. And there were 2 women. One, her husband was in a rest care facility and had advanced Alzheimer's. And the other one, her husband had passed some years before. And so I went to, I think maybe the first time I went to visit them, first couple of weeks I was there. And we get to talking, and both of them were like, "Can I tell you a secret, Pastor?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you can tell me. I'm not gonna tell nobody." And I'm still not telling you who they were, right? So, but they said, I voted for Barack Obama. And they both said that probably if they were still married, they wouldn't have been able to. I mean, imagine that. And I'm there, we're talking, this is like 2008. So, they wouldn't have been able to, they wouldn't have been allowed to, right? But we talked about it. And they had already heard there was a member of my church session said that he, if he found out that, because he figured I voted early, which I did in Florida, He said, if I find out you voted for Barack Obama, I'm gonna kick your ass. And we had a little argument. Well, it wasn't an argument. He questioned my integrity about something in a rather public way that kind of pissed me off at my house in front of some people. And I just was fed up. Like, I took my shirt off, dude. I was like, come on, man, let's go out back, man. Right now, man. Let's do it, man. Because you want to know how honest I am? I did vote for Barack Obama. And you said you're going to beat my ass if you found that out. Well, I just told you I did. So I guess we got to go have a fight now, don't we? He's like 66-year-old, semi-retired roughneck. I was 45-year-old pastor. Not too long out of being a line cook. It would have been a pretty good fight. He might have took me. I don't know, man. I'd probably hit him with a log or something. I don't know. I don't know, man. I've been around the street a little bit. So, you fight, man. There ain't no rules. So I probably would have took him. But anyways, neither here nor there. Thank goodness none of that happened. But, they said, yeah, man, we heard about that whole thing with you and him. I said, the whole town has heard about it. Are you kidding? I went in the diner the next day after that happened and people knew about it. They were like, this little old lady came up to me, man. She says, so you the pastor? I ain't gonna say his name. So you the pastor gonna kick so-and-so's ass? And I said, you heard about it already, huh? She goes, oh yeah. I said, well, I apologize, man. And she's like from the local Baptist church, like one of them ladies, you don't want to mess with her, right? So don't upset her. So I said to her, I'm really sorry. I said, I was under a lot of, I said something, I should have reacted differently. That was very unprofessional and unchristian of me and just not a good thing to do. And it's not kind of the person I am. And she looked at me, she winked. She says, that guy's had an ass kicking coming to him since he's been 6 years old, man. I've known him since back then. I wish you'd do it. And I'm just going like, oh my gosh, like where am I at? This is amazing. But I'm just blabbing on. Like it's about 9 minutes to go on this. I guess Mitch was the only one that came on, and I don't know. Some people commented, so I don't know. It's something to do. I mean, I'm gonna go eat some dinner here in a bit. Is someone buzzing? Did I get a buzz? Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, but this basically, I got no life, right? So I'll sit down here and blab. Doris cooked up some soup, man. Doris, I was a cook, like, I don't know, somewhere between 15, 20 years, restaurant business. And I'm no like Anthony Bourdain or anything, but I can throw down. Like, once in a while I can walk in the kitchen, man, just grab a couple pieces of mahi and stick my face in the fridge and the pantry and throw a couple things around and look up in the spice cabinet and grab a couple of things and bloop, and make you like a $30 plate of fish and whatever, man, real quick. But she makes some good stuff herself. So she made this, I guess, like a sausage and lentils and I guess beans and there's some tomatoes in it and I think maybe some other stuff. It's like a soup, like a stew almost. And it's like pretty good, dude. Like it makes me want to go out and harvest wheat by hand. You know what I mean? In Russia, you know what I mean? Like it's that kind of stick to your ribs, dude. Like I ate a big bowl of it last night and like I wasn't even hungry when I got up this morning. I was just like, wow, this like what I call truck driver food, If I ever had my own restaurant, my cuisine would be I had someone to explain to me once that I cooked Florida Caribbean style. I forget. I made something. It had mangoes in it, so I guess that's why they told me that. But yeah, to me, like truck stop food, man, it may not be the healthiest in a lot of ways, but I love truck stop food. And I think the greatest line cooks in the world are Waffle House cooks. Oh, hey, Francine. Francine says she's been listening to me, man. I feel sorry for her. Francine and I were in school together in seminary in Louisville. And she could tell you some funny stories about me, man. Like, probably. I used to wear my pajamas to class. Like, I don't think you're supposed to do that. Like, I was like 40 years old, basically, going to seminary. And they were like I found that it was really weird. The most money I'd ever made in a year in my life before, like I went to college in my 30s. And so I'm in like around 40, I'm going to grad school, going to seminary. And the most money I ever made in my life in a year, I was holding down 2 cooking jobs. And I think I made like $26,000. Like, I had one was full-time and one was kind of like a part-time or something. I forget. After taxes, I had like, I don't know, $22,000 or something. But it was 2 jobs, line cooking. But other than that, like the most I'd ever made in a year, like in one cooking job was before taxes, maybe 20,000, maybe, And I get in seminary, and Francine wasn't one of these people, but there were people there that were like, man, they've been like lawyers and stuff, dude. Like dudes were looking at taking cuts in pay to become Presbyterian ministers and cuts in their health insurance, which blew me away because I didn't even had health insurance, right? Except when I was in the military, really. And workman's comp was my health insurance. If I get sick and die, I hope it happens at work. Then maybe someone will pay for it. And it was just so, because I'm gonna tell you right now, man, health insurance for Presbyterian ministers is pretty cush. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you. And so it was just weird to me. I was like, when I got to my church in Mississippi, it was $40,000 a year. I got $21,000, and then but I got the house and stuff. So $40,000 a year package, and people were like, "Dude, you can ask for more?" And I said, "No." I said, "That's like twice as much money as I ever made in a freaking year. Are you kidding me? $40,000. Like I've been making $20,000 a year as a cook, and that's like working my fingers to the bone. And I get health insurance too. Are you joking? And like a house? This is all right." And then I found, and I said, the other reason is I don't know how to negotiate a salary, because in cooking, negotiating a salary is they have an application, right? Now I'm doing the beard backwards thing. I gotta stop doing this. You fill out your application, like whether you're at Chili's or wherever. It could be a chain, it could be a mom and pop, it could be some big fancy whatever. But fill out probably a standard application, and you fill it out, and someone on there says, how much do you expect an hour? So you write 12, and they say, no, here's what's going to happen. We're going to give you 10. And if in the first 6 months you give us no shit, you're never late, you never miss a day's work, even if you have like COVID and you're on a ventilator, we'll give you a quarter an hour raise. And maybe if you're really, really good, as good as you claim to be, we might give you 50 cents. Maybe. But usually something happens. You end up, if you're lucky, you get a quarter. You were late one day because you had a flat tire. I don't know. But anyways, so yeah. And so I didn't know how to negotiate a salary. And then I got to the church, and I was there a few months, and a woman came up to me who knew. She says, "Do you know why you were selected as pastor here?" And I'm like, "Why?" And I knew they hadn't had a lot of applications there. I mean, corresponding to say some bigger, better church that someone might want, or they can afford to raise their kids there or something. But she told me, she says, it was because I was the only one that accepted the salary. It was each presbytery sets a minimum wage kind of based on the cost of living. So there it was 40,000. May still be. So I was like basically pastoring for minimum wage, school teacher pay. And that was cool with me. I didn't go in it for the money. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? I don't have to like run a grill all night and hose down the floor and squeegee and all that crap. And I mean, at least not on a regular basis. And I get 40,000 a year in health insurance. Like, wow. And, but there were people that were like, I don't know, they've been making like $100,000 a year. They're like, I don't know how I'm going to afford to do this. Like, this church is offering me 80,000 a year. I don't even comprehend how that works. I just don't. So anyways, I'm getting ready to wind this up, and I just want to say, I got a little short, one of the little cool things with our host to take us out, but I don't know. I'm just gonna sit here and blab, whether people are here or not, whatever. Thank you, Francine. Francine was one of the best people I ever knew in seminary. I just want to tell you all that. I'd name a few other people, but Francine just was. Yeah, there were some assholes in seminary. I was probably one of them, to be honest. Probably a lot of people would tell you I was, and I was sometimes. But it's not like, I don't know, Sunday school on steroids at all. It's a lot like business school or law school. And except in law school, you can be open, or in business school, you're open about, like, I'm kissing ass to try to get the big job at the big law firm. Whereas in seminary, you have to be all low key and act all humble. And I'm praying about this big, expensive church that's the, dream job. You have to act like you're not really playing the kiss ass game and, stepping on people's toes and stuff. But it happens. I'll leave it at that. But I want to leave on a good word. So I'll just say, hey, be blessed, and namaste. And I'm going to shut this thing off. And got the sponsors coming up here, I think. Let's see how this works. I think this is it right here. Anyways, then I'm going to be out of here. See you Sunday. Bye. Scarlet Co for Art. Find me on patreon.com. And Dave's Delicious Delights. And I've got that other banner up in the way, but you see the website there. And Hometown Action, which we'll be talking to Warren tomorrow night on the podcast. So in the meantime, here I am. I'm back. I'm going to go eat some serious soup and drink some water. And I'm saving some music onto a playlist for working out or driving to my workout. It's all old school metal. And I'm going to pick out some Ozzy tunes, I think, to put on there. I've got a lot of Maiden and a lot of early Metallica, but I got to go with the Ozzy. So, hey, I'm out of here. See ya. Bye. Be blessed.